What page is it? Yes, we got that. Huh? Our opening, yeah, it would be nice, but everybody has their reasons for sitting where they sit. We're just getting a complex that you sit so far away from us. Rabbi Weizenbaum of blessed memory and I used to joke that we were going to take our lectern and move to the back so that we would actually sit next to people and they would be with us. Oh, you guys are shy. So Shabbat Shalom, everybody. We're going to start on page 323. And hopefully the Shabbat angels will follow us home. Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Asharei, Malachei Elyonim, Melech Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Yai Lai Lai Lai, Lai 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 Lai, Lai 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 Lai, Lai Lai Lai, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Boachem Shalom, Malachei Shalom, Malachei Elyonim, Melech Malachei Hamlachim, Kadosh Baruch Hu, Lai Lai Lai. Malachei Shalom, Malachei Elyonim, Melech Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Lai 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 Lai, Lai Lai Lai, Lai Lai Lai, Lai Lai Lai, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Seichem Shalom, Malachei Shalom, Malachei Elyonim, Melech Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Lai 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 Lai.
Wow.
Could you hear him?
I heard everybody.
Good.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
So we're, as you all know, who are in the synagogue, we're using Mishkan Tefillah tonight. For those at home, hopefully you have a copy and you can follow along or just join us any way you can. If you have names for the Mr. Barrack list or the Kaddish list, you can send those to JJ or in the comment section on whatever platform you're joining with us on this evening. One housekeeping request. At the conclusion of our service here in the sanctuary, would you please take your prayer books and put them back where you found them? Okay? All right, good. All right. We're going to continue with candle lighting. We invite Fran Haggerty to light our candles on page 3 and then page 2. Page 3 and then page 2.
I put it in the right position. I just didn't turn it on. It is on. Try it one more time, Fran, with gusto.
Only mute it when I sing. As these Shabbat candles give light to all who behold them, so may we, by our lives, give light to all who behold us. And as their brightness reminds us of the generations of Israel who have kindled light, so may we in our own day be among those who kindle light.
Did it go out?
Oh, went out? Here. We'll do it the old-fashioned way.
Okay, thank you. You did it, thank you.
Brooke T.A. Yeah.
Wait, Rabbi, you have to show them how you have the preschool put the match out.
When they
Fran,
attend
hand
preschool, I'll let
him the
them.
match. Never
No,
mind.
you're good. You're good. Yeah. Blessing.
Blessing.
Yeah.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lahadlik ner shel Shabbat.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat.
Blessed are you, Adonai, our God, sovereign of the universe, who hallows us with mitzvot, commanding us to kindle the light of Shabbat.
We continue on page 12 with Lechuna Ranina. Lechuna Ranina, Lechuna Ranina, Lechuna Ranina, Ladonai. Lechuna Ranina, Lechuna Ranina, Lechuna Ranina, Ladonai. Naria, Naria, Letzuri Shenu, Nikadma Fanav Betoda. Naria, Naria, Letzuri Shenu, Bizmirot Naria lo. Lechune Ranena, Lechune Ranena, Lechune Ranena, Ladonai. Lechune Ranena, Lechune Ranena, Lechune Ranena, Ladonai.
We're going to continue, possibly, there we go, with Psalm 29, page 18. We're going to read together a psalm of David. Ascribe to Adonai, O divine beings, ascribe to Adonai glory and strength. Ascribe to Adonai the glory of God's name. Bow down to Adonai, majestic in holiness. The voice of Adonai is over the waters. The God of glory thunders. Adonai over the mighty waters. The voice of Adonai is power. The voice of Adonai is majesty. The voice of Adonai breaks cedars. Adonai shatters the cedars of Lebanon. God makes Lebanon skip like a calf, Syrian like a young wild ox. Page 20, Lecha Dodi.
Lecha Dodi likrat kala, B'nei Shabbat nikabela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, B'nei Shabbat nikabela. Lecha Dodi, Lecha Dodi likrat kala, B'nei Shabbat nikabela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, B'nei Shabbat nikabela. Shamor v'zachor b'dibur echad, Ishmiyanu el hamiuchad, Adonai echad u'shemo echad, L'shem u'tiferet v'litila. Lecha Dodi, Lecha Dodi likrat kala, B'nei Shabbat nikabela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, B'nei Shabbat nikabela. Likrat Shabbat lechu v'nelcha, Ki mekor haberacha, Merosh mikedem nesucha. Sof maaseh b'mechashav tchila. Lecha Dodi, Lecha Dodi likrat kala, B'nei Shabbat nikabela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, B'nei Shabbat nikabela. Hitoreri, toreri, Ki va'orech kumi ori, uri, uri, shir daberi. Kvod Adonai alayich nila. Lecha Dodi, Lecha Dodi likrat kala, B'nei Shabbat nikabela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, B'nei Shabbat nikabela. We rise to welcome Shabbat. Boi v'shalom, Ateret ba'ala, Gam b'simcha u'v'tzola, Toch emunei am segula. Boi chala דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. Please be seated. The next psalm on page 22 is the psalm for the Shabbat. Every day of the week has a psalm of praise. But this one is telling us it's good to give thanks. Give thanks, give thanks, give thanks. So I'm going to invite you to sing it with me, Tov lehodot. You all know the word Tov. Let's do it. Tov, Tov, Tov lehodot, Tov lehodot Adonai. Tov, Tov, Tov lehodot, Tov lehodot Adonai. Ulezamer leshimcha elyon, leshimcha elyon. Ulezamer, ulezamer, leshimcha elyon. Tov, Tov, Tov lehodot, Tov lehodot Adonai. Tov, Tov, Tov lehodot, Tov lehodot Ladonai.
On this holy Shabbat, may we draw nearer to life, to peace and joy. May we find true rest, holiness in our deeds. Let us feed on the love of goodness. Let us drink from the love of goodness, restrain our thirst for excess, and cleanse our hearts to serve life well. On this holy Shabbat, may we draw near in life, in peace, and joy. We continue with the Chatzi Kaddish on page 26.
Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah. Be'alma divra chirutei v'yamlich malchutei b'chayeichon uv'yomeichon uv'chayei dechol Beit Yisrael. Bagala, bagala, ובזמן קריב ואימרו אמן. יהי שמי רבא מבורך לעולם ולעולמי עולמיה. יתברך, יתברך וישתבח, ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא, ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמי דקודשה בריחו לעילה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה תושבחתה ונחמתה דמירן בעלמה ואימרו אמן. We continue on page 146. Please rise. Barechu et Adonai hamevorach baruch Adonai hamevorach hamevorach leolam vaed. Please be seated. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bidvaro ma'ariv aravim bechokma poteach she'arim the evening fall, from light into darkness, with the setting of the sun. You unfold the heavens with brilliant moon and stars, and wrap our souls with peace. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bidvaro ma'ariv aravim bechokma poteach she'arim. Baruch atah Adonai Hamariv Aravim.
Page 148, we join together in the English. In each age we receive and transmit Torah. At each moment we are addressed by the world. In each age we are challenged by our ancient teaching. At each moment we stand face to face with truth. In each age we add our wisdom to that which has gone before. At each moment the knowing heart is filled with wonder. In each age the children of Torah become its builders and seek to set the world firm on a foundation of truth. Baruch atah Adonai Ohev Amo Yisrael. Please rise.
Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Le'olam Vaed. Please be seated. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavcha u'v'chol nafshecha u'v'chol meodecha ve'hayu hadvarim ha'ele asher anochi mitzavecha hayom al levavecha v'shinantam levanecha v'dibarta bam b'shivtecha b'veitecha uvlechtecha v'derech uv'shochbecha uv'kumecha ukshartam leot al yadecha v'hayu letotafot beinenecha uchtavtam al mezuzot beitecha uvisharecha leman tizgeru vasitem et kol mitzvotai v'item kedoshim lelohechem ani Adonai Elohechem asher hotzeiti etchem me'eretz Mitzrayim liot lachem lelohim ani Adonai Elohechem. Amen.
On Yom Kippur, there's a wonderful section, and we weren't able to really read it as a congregation in its entirety, called the Murderology. And in the introduction that I partially referred to in my remarks when we got there, the author mentioned, or the editor mentioned, that none of these individuals were martyrs or saints, but they reflected individuals who stepped up when they had to, and when the world needed for them to step up. And as we sing the Mi Chamocha in a moment, I think we can think of the Nobel Peace Prize winners who were announced this week, a Russian advocacy for peace group and a Ukrainian group that are advocating for the rights of individuals and standing up against intolerance in the world. And they're not saints or martyrs, but they're ones risking their own lives and their families to do the right thing. It's a message for us, just as the Mi Chamocha is as well.
All right, we've got to get our energy up to cross that sea. Ready? Go. Bim bum. Bim bum. Bim bum. Bim bum. Mi chamocha balim Adonai, mi kamocha nedar bakodesh, norati lo osefele, norati lo osefele, malchutecha rauvanecha, bokei hayam lifnei Moshe. Zelianu ve'ameru Adonai imloch leolam va'ed. Yai lai 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 la da dai yava bye bye bim bam. Yai lai 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 la da dai yava bye bye bim bam. Ai dai da dai 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 yava bye bye bim bam. Ai dai da dai 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 yava bye bye bim bam. ונאמר כי פדה אדוני את יעקב וגאלו מיד חזק ממנו ברוך אתה אדוני גל ישראל.
Page 154. The people of Israel shall keep Shabbat, observing Shabbat throughout the ages as a covenant for all time. It is a sign for all time between me and the people of Israel. For in 6 days Adonai made heaven and earth, and on the seventh God ceased from work and was refreshed. And let's all say, ah, I knew you were going to do that.
ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ביני ובין בני ישראל אותי לעולם, אותי לעולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. כי 6 ימים עשה אדוני, עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. וביום השביעי שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם.
We continue with Chris, I don't want to cut you off. We continue with the Amida on page 155, the next page. Please rise.
Adonai sefatai tiftach ufi yagid tehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu, Elohei Avotenu v'imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor v'Hanora, Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, V'konei Hakol, V'zocher Chasdei Avot v'Imahot, ומביא גאולה לבני בניהם, למען שמו באהבה. מלך עוזר ומושיע ומגן, ברוך אתה אדוני, מגן אברהם ועזרת שרה. אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני, מחיי הכל אתה רב להושיע. מוריד הטל, מכלכל חיים בחסד, מחיי הכל ברחמים רבים, סומך נופלים ורופא חולים, ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו לשני עפר. מי כמוך בעל גבורות ומי דומה לך, מלך ממית ומחיה ומצמיח ישועה, ונאמן אתה לחיות הכל. ברוך אתה אדוני מחיה הכל. אתה קדוש ושמך קדוש, וקדושים בכל יום יעללוך סלה. ברוך אתה אדוני האל הקדוש. We continue silently through page 167, either standing or sitting.
Do you want to keep going or do you want me to keep going?
A reminder for those who are visiting us virtually, if you have names for our Mr. Barrack list, or you have names for our Kaddish list, send those to JJ or in the comments section on whatever platform you're on. And now it's my pleasure and honor to invite Renee Geffen, who will be delivering our drosh this evening.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Our portion this week is, I think it's better. Okay. I'm speaking from the inspiration of Ha'azinu, next to the last piece of Deuteronomy. Our guide and our teacher, Moses, has been told by God that he will not live to enter the promised land. Moses gathers all the Israelites to address them with words directed to people and to God. Quote, Ha'azinu, give ear, O heavens, let me speak. Let earth hear the words I utter. Ha'azinu is a hymn of hope that Israel prevails in body as well as in spirit. Is that not how we pray? We strive to live well, to do mitzvot. When we are overwhelmed, we beseech God for help and also take physical action. In our parsha, Moses reminds the people of God as our rock, our parent, both father and mother, our human cheerleader. But Moses knows that in the future we may lose ourselves among, quote, the nations, unquote. We will leave God and be brought down. There will be battles. God will be there to help. Is this revenge on an enemy? We cringe at the idea, but some commentary views this as God's change of heart. God takes his people back in faithfulness and with love. Yes, man must fight to live with Torah's values. We will be blessed to survive as long as we teach our generations how our people became a people, those who wield their own strength and remain faithful to God's loving presence. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom. Thank you, Renee. So we're going to continue with our Mishabach prayer, our prayer of healing of body, soul, and spirit. And if there is anyone in the sanctuary who has a name of someone, well, let me read the names who were recently added this week, and then if there's some in the room or online, I'll add those as well. So in addition to those who we have on our slide, we include Nancy Barker, Paul Kay, Amy Kramer, Vicki Franz, and Maoz Frumkin, and from online, Karen Martin, Ralph Martin, Karen Heller, and Jan Wilson. So if there's anyone in our sanctuary who has someone for which we should offer our prayer, we would love to hear those names. Thank you. Thank you. And also Pam Chess. So our Mishabach prayer is found on page 253. If you'd like to rise physically or spiritually for the Mishabach, you may.
Mekor habracha the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen.
Please be seated. So I was thinking about this week's Torah portion. Thank you, Renee, for your thoughtful introduction to, the connection the rabbis try and make with this Torah portion of bringing heaven and earth together. One of the thoughts I try and bring to Torah study every week is something I was thinking about this week through the stories that I shared with you over the High Holy Days. Allison Bechdel was the woman who shared her story at my son's graduation, the young woman who got the job for that investment firm by expressing her deficits first and then her strengths, and she got that job, and all the Chelm stories. And I was reminded of a book that I wrote. What? The rabbi wrote a book? Well, we had to write a book for, that's our rabbinic thesis, so 35 or so years ago. The idea behind the book was there are stories in both rabbinic literature and also in the Bible itself that help promote a better understanding of who we are. And I was also reminded of an amazing Torah commentary book called Torah Therapy. And that's what struck me as being indicative of how we should approach Torah, is not always asking what and why, what is going on, and why did this happen, and why did God do this, and why did Abraham or Moses react that way. But Torah therapy is about how. How does this story apply to me? So I was gonna do a dialogue, but it's a concern that if we don't have a microphone, people online can't hear us. So I'm going to share with you just a couple brief stories and share with you how I feel this is therapy for us. When we hear these stories, maybe we can learn something about ourselves. So I wrote 2012, I shared this story for this Torah portion with the congregation. There was a man who looked at the tree in his backyard, and the leaves were turning yellow and brown. And he became very sad. He didn't know what to do, and he thought to himself, this is really terrible. My tree is dying, and I'm never going to get any fruit from it unless I do something. And then all of a sudden, he looked in his house, and he saw the different colors on the walls of his kitchen, and his living room, and the bedroom, and he got a great idea. And he went into his storage room, and he took out some paints, and he started mixing colors, and he found a great color green, and he went out to the backyard, and he painted all the brown and yellow leaves green. And he looked at it, and that was just marvelous. And he went to bed, woke up the next morning, all the leaves were gone. They had all fallen off. So this teaches us that there is no shortcut, I think, in life. There are no easy fixes. And also something really important I learned from my TM master, my Transcendental Meditation master. Maharishi Mahesh Yogi had, the families that were involved in TM, they had kids and they had a choir. And I've got this somewhere on a tape. And if I can find it, I'll share it with you. But there was a great song these kids sang about getting green leaves and fruit, and it was water the roots in order to get the fruit. It was a very catchy song. I'm not going to sing it for you. But that requires more effort, to water a tree and to make sure it's got the right nutrients and things like that. So shortcuts don't quite work. One of my favorite stories, and in my book I said this works in rabbinical counseling. So I suggested in book maybe this story is a good story to tell regarding maybe a husband and wife or two people who are in a relationship who are may be having some difficulties in their relationship. So it goes like this. In the middle of a town stood a small but sturdy synagogue. It had only one floor and pews with hard backs for seating. This one morning at the very front of the synagogue before the Ark of the Covenant, the Baal Shem Tov and his disciples stood in deep prayer. All wore their tefillin and prayer shawls and bobbed back and forth, mumbling the ancient words they recited every day of their lives. This particular morning, the Baal Shem Tov stood in the house of prayer an extraordinarily long amount of time. All the disciples had finished and were already removing their prayer shawls and their tefillin, but the Baal Shem Tov continued without them, bobbing and praying silently in the early morning light. And the disciples waited a good long while, and then walked out of the synagogue, went home, and after several hours, when they had attended to their various duties, they returned to the house of prayer and found the Baal Shem Tov still deep in prayer. And the Baal Shem Tov finished his prayers, and he turned to them with a solemn expression on his face. And he said to all of them, "By going away, leaving me alone, you dealt me a painful separation." So we could just stop there and we could talk about what that story means to you. But then he says, "I shall tell you a parable." So he goes on and tells another story. You know that there are birds of passage who fly to warm countries in the autumn. Well, the people in one of those lands once saw a glorious many-colored bird in the midst of a flock which was journeying through the sky. Its wingspan touched one horizon to the other. Its colors were of the rainbow, and the eyes of man had never seen a bird so beautiful. The bird came to rest on the tallest tree in the kingdom and nested in its leaves. And when the king of the country heard of it, he bade his servants to fetch down the bird with his nest. He ordered a number of men to make a ladder up the tree. One was to stand on the other's shoulders until it was possible to reach up high enough to take the nest. It took a long time to build this living ladder. The weight of each man was very great as the burden increased with each one climb above the next. Those who stood nearest the ground lost patience, shook themselves free, and everything collapsed. So those at the bottom decided, "I'm bored," and they took off. And so the Baal Shem Tov is relating that to what happened to him in prayer. So it's, for me, the therapy in the parable and the story of the Baal Shem Tov, if we relate it to coworkers possibly or couples in a relationship, is we all have different goals. But when you're in a relationship with someone or you're working, toward an end, a product or some sort of goal, and one of you leave, how do you feel about that? I mean, I am sure if I ask you all, how many of you have been working on a project, maybe with someone else, maybe at work, maybe at home, maybe with your family, and all of a sudden you're all by yourself, you feel abandoned. And it's hurtful inside, and the question is, do you say anything? Fortunately, the Baal Shem Tov spoke up and said something. But the question is, why does your partner leave? Why does your coworker leave? Do they not understand what is meaningful either for you individually or for both of you together? And the struggle in any kind of relationship is really having the heart to find that understanding of what the most important goal is, to get that bird out of that tree, to pray together as a group. And if you leave, what do you do when you're all alone? So it reminds us to check in. Oftentimes, like at work, and it happens here at our synagogue too, we silo our responsibilities. Cantor's responsible for this, Sarah's responsible for that, Rabbi Cohen's responsible for that. But if we don't check on each other every once in a while and, number one, see if we can help to achieve that goal because it's a goal for the congregation, then one of us may feel abandoned. And I know this happens to those of you who've been volunteers at Legacy Temple Emmanuel, Legacy Orkadosh, and even Kol Ami. You volunteered for something, and all of a sudden, you're all by yourself, and you feel abandoned. It's like someone walked off. You couldn't grab that beautiful rainbow bird. All right, let me leave you with one last idea regarding this idea of Torah therapy. You notice I'm not talking about Torah at all. But this applies when you come and study with Rabbi Cohen and me on Saturday or with Tuesday. You know, what and why is going on is okay. But I'm telling you, for 2,000 years, the rabbis, spent this much time on what's going on and why did it happen, why did God do this, why did our patriarchs and matriarchs act that way. But 99% of what they taught us for the last 2,000 years is Torah therapy. So here's a perfect example. We have the holiday of Hanukkah coming up. No. It will go fine. Thank you, Fran. Okay, but the next holiday is Sukkot. Okay, so one of the symbols of Sukkot, or four of the symbols of Sukkot, is the etrog, the palm branch, the myrtle, and the willow. So typically, you know, when we're teaching our kids and even adults for the first time, they want to know, hey, what's this? And what are we supposed to do with this? And maybe why do we shake it in north, south, east, west, up and down? The answer is God is everywhere. Okay, so you've got what we're to shake. You have why we shake it in all those directions, but why this stuff? So I'm going to give you the Torah therapy answer. So the rabbis looked at this and they said, all of these elements are really different. The etrog has got a lovely smell, and you actually can eat what's inside. The palm branch has no smell, but it does have fruit that you can eat. The willow has no smell and has no fruit. And the myrtle has got a lovely smell, but no fruit. So they said, this represents four kinds of Jews in our world. It represents the Jew that studies and studies and studies and does mitzvot. Smells great and tastes great, right? And you've got the palm branch, which represents people who don't study at all, but they do good deeds. So that's a good thing. You've got the myrtle, which smells nice, so it's someone who studies but doesn't do anything with it. And then the willow. Those are Jews who do nothing, study nothing. Okay, so the question is, what do we do with all four of these kinds of people in our community? We hold them together. Right. So the rabbis don't disparage anyone in the community for not belonging to the synagogue, not paying for the synagogue, not studying in the synagogue, not doing enough mitzvot. If we can just embrace everyone together, that's what Sukkot represents. No matter what you do or what you don't do, we love you anyway, and we want to be part of your family, and we shake that together. So when you hear a story like that, you think about people in your own lives, people who you're a little bit estranged with, people who are not doing enough for you, but you do so much for them. And this Torah therapy says, God doesn't care. You call them up and you be with them anyway. Amen. Okay, we call Lori Kastman, who is, what? You're holding the plastic right over the candle. Like this? Yeah, don't do that. This is fireproof. No. Lori, save me. Yeah, I guess so. Yeah. Cantor always pays attention to me.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone. We want to thank Rabbi Lockheim, Cantor Cohen, and cantorial intern Sarah Bolt for leading our services this evening. And I want to give out a special shout out to our clergy for our High Holy Day. They were amazing. So thank you for all that you guys did. It really made us feel special. Thank you, Chris, for your accompaniment. It always makes a special service. And We want to make sure that we thank our team in the back that would not be able to stream, do anything without JJ back there. So thank you so very much for that. And a special thank you to Fran for lighting our candles, not setting anything on fire like Rabbi was trying to do. And also to Renee Geffen for our very, very special drosh. Thank you for that and leading us into the beginning of service. Tomorrow is, as Rabbi said, Torah study, which begins at 8:30, followed by our Shabbat service at 10 o'clock. Please go to the website to see all that we have to offer in our Jewish lifelong learning. There's so many classes in there, you'll definitely find something that you would enjoy. So please look that up. Some of our upcoming events begin this Sunday with Sukkot, Sunday, September 9th, which starts at 5:45. At the congregation, we're having a Sukkot potluck. So again, look that up, sign up for that. Followed by the evening service, which will come at 6:30. Monday, October 10th at 10 a.m. we'll begin the Sukkot morning service, followed by the Women of Kolami Kiddush lunch, which is open to everyone. So please pay attention to that. It is open to everyone. Friday, October 14th at 5:30, we offer you pizza in the hut. You can find, again, all of this information and so much more by checking out your weekly emails. They send those out for a reason. Please read them. And also the Kolami website. Simchat Torah and Consecration Celebration is on Sunday, October 16th at 6:30. And I'm going to mess this one up. I know I am. Shem Inia Atzarit Yizkor morning service. I practiced that 15 different ways, and it still came out
That
wrong.
was perfect.
I'm sorry. Is on Monday, October 17th at 10 a.m. The Carrying Committee is inviting you to join them under the sukkah on Wednesday, October 12th at 11:30 a.m. And this is open to all members, including new members. They're asking for you to come and join them. The office will be closed on guess what days? The days after all the holidays. We are closed on Monday, October 10th, Monday, October 17th, and Tuesday, October 18th. I thought that was quite. Come and join Rabbi and Marshall Lockheim and Cantor Cohen for 2 different once-in-a-lifetime trips to Israel. One is for first-timers, and one is for repeat visitors. There are 2 informational meetings detailing the specifics of the trip. You only need to come to one. They're going to repeat the information. It's going to be Tuesday, October 11th at 7 p.m. or Sunday, October 16th at 4:30 p.m. Please go on, again, sign up, let them know that you're coming to it. So with that, on behalf of clergy, staff, and Board of Trustees, please stay safe, healthy, Shana Tova, and Shabbat Shalom.
Yeah, and we did that meeting on Sunday the 16th that is preceding the Simchat Torah. For those, we'll have our information session on the 16th that Sunday, and then hopefully those who are coming for that session will stay for Simchat Torah as well. We did that on purpose. So I love what Rabbi Cohen introduced to our congregation, and that is, does anyone have a Shekianu moment that happened besides what a wonderful time you had at the High Holy Days? Were there any other, anyone has a special Shekianu moment that you want to share with us? Well, and I've got to check, see if anyone puts anything online. Anyone?
Nobody had anything good all week.
Something new? Did you eat something good for breakfast?
Sarah has
Sarah.
I was on this bima for the first time for the High Holy Days.
Oh, yeah.
That was wonderful.
Yeah. She used to serve another congregation for many years, she was great. I used to go up on second day. Yeah, Andy. You got everyone home, after Yom Kippur, you mean? You got everyone home safely? Okay. That's great. All right, we're going to continue with our Shekianu.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam שהחיינו וקיימנו והגיענו לזמן הזה.
We continue with the Aleinu on page 282. Page 282. Please rise.
עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונה. ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא, ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו, ושמו, ושמו אחד.
Please be seated. For those who are saying Kaddish for a loved one this weekend, if you'd like to come up and place a pebble in your hand, as symbolically feeling the weight of your loved one on your life, you may come up and do that ritual. Thanks, Lenore. We recall at this time Ronald Levy, who was the brother of our own Martin Levy, who died a week ago Friday and was buried this past Monday. Husband to Eileen, father of Benjamin, son-in-law to Dario, brother of David and Michelle Levy, sister of Rose and Marvin Levy, sister of Carol Miller, and grandfather of Jacob and Grace. We observe the Shloshim, those who died within the past 30 days, Estelle Abrams, David Woods, Erwin Sattinger, Stephen Parks, and Roz Stein. And we link their names with those who died at this season in years past. Samuel Adlin, Yvette Alterman, Coulter, Davis Bartz, Ruth Bain, Tully Ben Aaron, Doris Ben Aaron, Rebecca Besserman, Hyman Blatter, Israel Bograd, Joseph Brindis, Sheldon Brown, Bernice Cohen, Harry Cohen, Nettie Crane, John Dawson, Nettie Dritch, Isaac Feldman, Frederick Fine, Donna Frost, Mary Gardner, Louise Gibbons, Helena Gluskin, Alvin Graff, George Greenberg, Fred P. Havis, Esther Henry, Hilda Hinden, John Holt, Norman Hopper, Alexander Inselman, Michael Keeney, Bruce Kipper, Morris Kirschbaum, Simon Kibble, Bonnie Krasner, Edna Levi, William Levison, Rose Levy, Joe Lewis, Rivka Manderkern, Joseph Naif, Robert Nixon, Teresa Peters, Leonard Plotz, Zudik Rabin, Richard Reeves, Esther Rosenberg, Sam Rubin, Gertrude Saft, Charlotte Schwartz, David Schwimmer, Oscar Seal, Gwendolyn Shapiro, Marcia Silverman, Alan Slater, Hiram Soifer, Benjamin Sonnenblick, Mildred Turetsky, Seymour Vernick, Louis Weinstein, Israel Weintraub, Samuel Weiss, Benjamin Zakorski, Mark Gross, Adora Rosenberg. If there are those in our sanctuary who sang Kaddish for someone, for a name that was not mentioned, you may rise and mention those names at this time. Thank you. We ask all of our loved ones to please rise, join those who are saying Kaddish. The Kaddish prayer can be found on page 294. Page 294.
Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah.
Amen.
V'alma divra chirutei v'yamlich malchutei b'chayechon u'v'yamechon u'v'chayei d'chol Beit Yisrael ba'agala u'v'zman kariv v'yimaru. Amen. Yehei shmei Rabbah mevorach le'olam u'lomei almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh v'yitadar v'yitalev v'yitalal shmei d'kudisha brichu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechemata da'amiran be'alma v'imru. Amen. Yehei shlama Rabbah min shemaya v'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru. Amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru. Amen. V'imru, v'imru, v'imru. Amen. V'imru, v'imru, v'imru. Amen. Please be seated. We turn to page 328. I'm raising it to D. Just felt low to me. Mi piel, yevorach kol Yisrael. Mi piel, yevorach kol Yisrael. Ein adir k'Adonai, ve'ein baruch k'ven amram. Ein gedula k'Torah, ein darshaneha k'Yisrael. Mi piel, yevorach kol Yisrael. Mi piel, yevorach kol Yisrael. Go for it.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafel.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu, v'shabbat kodsho be'ahava uvratzon himchilanu, zikaron lema'aseh v'reishit, ki hu yom techila lemikra'ei kodesh, zecher letziat Mitzrayim, kivanu b'charta v'otanu kidashta mikol ha'amim, v'shabbat kodshecha be'ahava
Baruch atah Adonai Mekadesh HaShabbat. Amen.
Hamotzi lechem min haaretz.
We give thanks to God for bread.
Our voices rise in song together as our joyful prayer is said. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Amen. Shabbat shalom.